My name is Julia Mead, and I am very, very lucky to be the head teacher of this fantastic school. I've been head teacher here since 2017, but prior to that I was deputy, so I've actually been here a very long time. And I see Moulton really as being part of my family, and it means a great deal to me. I am incredibly proud of the school, of what we achieve both on a daily basis and on an annual basis, more of which later during the presentation. We have 3 core values as a school, which are enjoy, enrich and achieve. And before I talk a little bit about those and about why you might want to consider your child attending this school in September 2024, I'm going to introduce 2 people to you who embody those values completely. And they are Will Smith, who is our head student, and Heidi Ryder, who is also our head student. I think Heidi, you're going to go first, is that correct? So over to you.
Hello everyone, it's lovely to see you all here this evening. My name is Heidi Ryder and I'm one of the head students here at Moulton. So I started my Moulton journey back in 2017, and over the past 6 years I've seen the school grow and flourish. Being a Moulton student from Year 7 all the way up to 6th form really has built my life skills. I'm now a confident, well-rounded, independent and happy individual with a strong academic accolade to provide me for future life. I'm privileged to have the role of head student, have an opportunity to share my incredible experience at this outstanding school. One of the standout aspects throughout my 6 years has definitely been the passion and dedication of the teachers, our school senior leaders and their dedication to continuously improve the school and students' well-being. The relationships we form at your time of Moulton with peers and teachers are exceptional. My passion for history stems from the amazing teachers the department holds and their genuine love for their subject and care for each student, allowing you to truly love what you study. I've had incredible academic and enriching opportunities here at Moulton, truly proving itself as a school of opportunity. Being able to have time to volunteer at my local infant school, undergoing a week's work experience at Lloyd's of London Insurance Company, being a Made for More training community, helping younger students with their academic and personal difficulties, as well as completing my Duke Edinburgh Award and going on trips to broaden my knowledge as an A-level student. All of these opportunities have helped me build my personal statement and community skills, proving Moulton truly sets you up for life. I'm so grateful for being able to express my love for sports in younger years, such as taking part in swimming galas, netball matches and country races. Not only do I thrive in these clubs, teachers thrive helping their pupils succeed, making time to acknowledge successes for exciting sports awards evenings where I won 2 years in a row of sports club. Even though training was hard, Moulton taught me to get back up when I fell, and I bring this along to me studying A-levels now. 3 A-levels and an NQ, which provides the extras, which helps Moulton students stand head and shoulders above others. Now I'm enjoying my last year here at Moulton, which I do not want to spend, grasping onto all aspects of school life. If you're willing and eager to learn, build amazing experiences, and develop your personal skills to a high level, whilst achieving top grades, I'm certain that you will thrive at Moulton. Thank you for listening.
Good evening everybody. Welcome to Moulton High School. My name is Will Smith and I'm the head student collectively with my colleague Heidi. I'm very proud to be in the senior leadership position. However, my journey up until this point has not been plain sailing to say the least. From the years 7 to 9, my main focus in life was not school. Like the traditional teenager, I was caught up in other activities, football, video games, and not to mention I might have looked at my phone once or twice a day as well. And school was not on the top of my priority list. My continuous lack of care for education led me to receiving poor grades during these years, achieving a grade 1 at one of my maths tests in year 9. This was a turning point in my school career. After achieving this grade 1 in maths, I still just didn't seem to care. It wasn't until my year 9 parents' evening that following week when my maths teacher at the time firmly told me I had to improve, with the beginning of GCSEs rapidly approaching. I remember being sat in my dad's car coming home from parents' evening thinking, is this really the way I want to carry on? So I knew something just had to change. The COVID-19 lockdown followed a few months after this event, and this was a very pivotal moment in my academic turnaround. From the months of March to July, every day my teachers would go above and beyond to ensure we didn't miss any learning time, creating tasks for us to complete, giving us exam papers to do, making us watch documentaries and more, and this extraordinary effort from the teachers now matches my eagerness to succeed drove me down the correct path which I followed intently. On my return to school now marked a new chapter in my life, GCSEs. Despite having feelings of apprehension, my teachers quickly removed this feeling of doubt. I regularly have one-to-one meetings with teachers regarding how I can improve, which led to all of my teachers sending extra work to complete outside the classroom, from wider readings and practice papers, which saw a dramatic increase in my scores and my tests, achieving improved grades in my summer exams of Year 10. However, I knew there was still more progress to be made. I now went to my final year of high school, and this required a large amount of effort from both the teachers and myself. I was determined to succeed, but I needed that extra burst of motivation to help me achieve the best possible grades to maximise my potential. And that came from the teachers. The start of Year 11 began with an inspirational talk from Miss Mead, which went over what is needed to be successful, and her words and passions really resonated with me. The effort from all of my teachers throughout the year was inspiring, with teachers such as Mr. Mason, who's the head of geography, who was attentive enough to guide us in the right direction for one of the questions in my GCSEs, which allowed me to achieve 4 marks on that question. It was the collective effort and perseverance from all of my teachers throughout Year 11, which allowed me to score 7 8s and 9s in my GCSEs, or A's and A stars to put it simply. Year 12 was then a continuation of Year 11, with teachers just going the extra mile to ensure success, giving us constant feedback, extra reading and support during what was a highly pressurised time for all. This stressful period was alleviated by our head of year and by our head of sixth form, Mrs. Engelbrecht, who gave us a variety of support, extracurricular help and emotional guidance. Once again, this helping hand from teachers and other members of staff directed me and allowed me to achieve 4 A's at my AS level with a great starting position for Year 13. Despite only a few weeks into Year 13 now, I now feel more confident than ever in terms of my future opportunities. With predicted grades of 3 A stars, I now look towards the next phase of my educational journey. Thank you everyone for coming to Molson tonight. I hope you have a really nice evening, and I wish you all the best for the future, hopefully at Molson High School.
Well, those 2 young people really embodify the Molson product. Confident, well-rounded, articulate young people who I'm quite confident will leave at the end of Year 13 really prepared for the challenges of adult life and to go into the world of work. I think Will's story is also particularly important because he also sums up for me our philosophy here at Molsham High School, that we do not give up on any student. Will has openly been honest with you this evening. In Year 9, things could have gone in a very different direction. He was on a grade 1 in maths. As he just said, he's just got 4 A grades at AS level because he's managed to turn things around, and most importantly, the school hasn't given up on him. And there's going to be plenty more evidence of that as I speak to you this evening. So, when Ofsted came last time, which was in 2020, this is my favourite quote from our Ofsted report. It's actually the first line of the Ofsted report. And Lead Inspector Andy Hemming said, as soon as I went into the feedback, yours is a school of opportunity. And that is true in every sense of the word, in terms of giving the young people who come to us the best possible life chances for the future, in terms of enrichment, social development and academic achievement. So, why should you and your child consider coming to Molsham High School? Well, if we take our first core value of enjoy, students do enjoy coming to Molsham High School. We do regular student voice. We do regular student surveys. We have a school council, for example. And the overwhelming feedback from our students is that they love coming to school. There are lots of reasons for that, but one of the key ones is that they feel safe. It's not just because we've got kind of Fort Knox style fences around the school. We have to have those by law to keep strangers out and dangers out. But it's because there is a culture of safeguarding in this school. The safeguarding of the young people who attend here every day is our #1 priority. And everything we do is to ensure that those young people are kept safe. So we have a large pastoral team, which I'll talk about in a moment, who deal with a whole range of issues every single day, making sure that young people are kept safe. The students in this school know there's a whole team of people, which I'll explain in a moment, that they can go and talk to if they are worried about something. And because of that, there is no hesitation on students wanting to come to school. Last year, the national average attendance in secondary schools across the country was about 90%. At Molsham High School, it was nearly 96%. And we're 6% above national average because the students want to come to this school every single day. So, pastoral team, again, making students feel safe. Every single student in this school is known and known well by a group of people. It is a big school. We're probably about just over 1,600, I think it's 1,500 when I last looked at the number on roll. That's a daunting number of people to have on one site. And I know that sometimes parents and children are worried that their child is going to get lost in that huge crowd. Well, I can assure you, and the students would echo this, that is not the case. First of all, as you'll see when you walk around, we have an incredibly big site. So you never actually feel that there are big groups of people anywhere. When the bell goes, when people change lessons, there's not bundling through doors or big crowds of people all trying to get to the same place. Because it actually takes you quite a while to walk from one place to the other. But we also have this actually newly expanded pastoral team from September 2023. So we have, first of all, the person who's called the Standards and Progress Leader, Mr. Smith. If you'd like to wave there, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith is the Standards and Progress Leader for Year 8. That means that he is responsible for the welfare and the academic progress of every single child in Year 8. So he's got 270 in his year group. So he's obviously not, he's going to know them, but he's not going to know them all particularly well. So we have the pastoral manager who works with him. Now the pastoral manager is not a teacher. They are a member of the support staff. So while Mr. Smith has to go off and teach geography now and again, because that's his subject, the pastoral manager is always there to pick up any issue which arises at any time and to answer the phone to you whenever you ring in during the course of the day. And the pastoral manager knows the students incredibly well. However, we are very conscious of the size of the school and the fact that perhaps since the pandemic there is a wider range of need that students have in school. Anxiety, for example, it has increased hugely since the pandemic. So in the summer term of last year, I went to the Bridge Academy Trust, which we are part of, and I asked for some additional pastoral staff to make sure that we could maintain our ethos of every student being known and being known well. And they very generously granted me 2 assistant pastoral managers. So they are also members of the support staff. So they're not teaching either. They are also available all day. So your child would enter Year 7 in September 2024. They'd have their Standards and Progress Leader, they'd have their pastoral manager, they'd have their assistant pastoral manager, and they'd have their form tutor. All of those people just interested in them. Not worried about Year 8, Year 9, Year 10, Year 11, but just interested in them. And that very tight team does ensure that every child is known and known well, and no child slips through the net. And that is incredibly important if students are going to enjoy coming to school. We also, I mentioned anxiety having been on the increase since the pandemic, for example. We know that some children have found coming to school more difficult since the pandemic. There was some data on the radio this morning saying that actually going to school every day is no longer the norm in some parts of the country because of the pandemic. So we are incredibly lucky in that we've got an exceptional team of mental health support which comes into the school on a regular basis. And this is unique This is, if you want a selling point for Molsham High School, this is one of them. You will not find this range of mental health support in any other local school. So I won't go through them all there, but Mr Blenkin, my deputy head teacher, is a Department for Education trained mental health lead. This week, he has set up a new partnership with the Mid-Essex NHS Mental Health Support Team, who are now coming in 1 day a week to work with young people. And that's in addition to the Curve Foundation, who are a mental health charity, who we have for 3 days a week, and Made for More, and CAMS and Kids Inspire, and so on. So we can bypass those awfully long waiting lists, which we know exist in the NHS, to gain children the kind of support they need. They don't need a 6-month wait. They don't need a year-long wait on a waiting list. If they've got a pressing mental health issue, anxiety, concern, possibly an eating disorder, which have also increased since the pandemic, school can probably get them to talk to somebody within a week. Particularly important, for example, if a child has a family bereavement and they're finding that difficult to cope with. Again, all very bespoke mental health support, and that's an incredibly important part of our school. The second main reason why young people feel safe coming up to Molsham High School is that behaviour here is of an incredibly high standard. I hope that many of you will come on an open morning tour over the course of the next 2 weeks and see this for yourselves. But everybody who walks around as a visitor always says in their feedback, what a calm and purposeful place this is. Now, I know that all too well because I go and visit other schools, and I'm always quite relieved to get back here because that is absolutely true. And when Ofsted came in 2020, they described it as a nice place to be. We have zero tolerance for bullying. I'm not going to say that bullying doesn't exist because that would be unrealistic. A school is a microcosm of society, but we have zero tolerance for bullying. We deal with it quickly, efficiently, we sanction, and it doesn't happen again. We will not tolerate discrimination against anybody on race, gender, religion at this school, and we act on it very, very quickly. We have a very, very clear student behaviour policy. We are revising it on an annual basis to make it more efficient and making sure that learning in the classroom is not disrupted in any way at all. And the last bullet point there is incredibly important. I will permanently exclude people. I will be honest with you, in this day and age, the legal system makes it incredibly difficult to permanently exclude. But last year I did permanently exclude 2 students, and those permanent exclusions were upheld. One young man in year 7 because he simply didn't know how to behave in a school, and one young man who was in year 10. Now that is actually quite unheard of because by the time we get to year 10, you're thinking about GCSEs and you're thinking about the life chances of that young person. But that young person was having such a negative effect on other students in this school that he couldn't stay here. And I'm happy to do that in any occasion where there is a member of our community who is affecting the learning of others, or who perhaps is putting others at harm, or is perhaps an exceptionally bad influence on others. And it's something that we will continue to do at this school because we're always thinking about the greater good of the student body. Enrichment, our second core value. I could have probably filled 30 slides about enrichment, so I'm just going to give you a very brief snapshot. But as you walk around and talk to staff, you will hear some of the things that we do. We have 2 kind of tranches of enrichment. We have what's called enrichment within the taught curriculum. So every subject is expected to put on something related to what's being taught in lessons every term. So in last summer term, for example, History, we're doing the Suffragettes with Year 8. There's this marvellous theatre company who come in dressed up as suffragettes. They get the students acting in role. You can hear people chanting slogans from the history rooms and things. It's absolutely amazing. Another very, very successful event in the summer term was Dissection Live for the Year 10 triple scientists. So the rack seating you're sitting on now was pushed back, and we had people, well, we first of all observed some surgeons actually dissecting a brain, and then the students had a go at doing that to an animal's brain, and using the same techniques, looking at the blood vessels and so on. Pretty gory if you don't like that sort of thing, but the students absolutely loved it, and it brings all the learning they've done in the textbooks and class alive. So a huge range of enrichment within the core curriculum. Okay, and you can see some other examples there. We also have enrichment outside of the taught curriculum. We have clubs going on before school, after school, and lunchtime. I'll pick out a couple there. I think I'll perhaps pick out the Duke of Edinburgh Award. During the pandemic, the Duke of Edinburgh Award was something that really suffered because all of the expeditions, the training, the camps really came to a complete standstill. So now, three years on, we've got the biggest cohort of bronze Duke of Edinburgh students, about 90. We've got half of those going off again this weekend to Danbury to do their trial practice expedition. We've also got a silver group, and for the first time since about 2019, this year we've also got a gold Duke of Edinburgh Award group too, who are going to the Brecon Beacons. I don't think you can call them that now, you're supposed to call them their Welsh name. They are going to the Brecon Beacons in October to do their gold D&V expedition. And that is all staffed by teachers who are just totally dedicated and committed to developing the whole person and making sure that our students have as many enrichment opportunities as possible. We also have a huge number of trips and visits. Next Wednesday, all of Year 7 are going to Stubbers. You can see a picture from last year there. Stubbers Outdoor Activity Centre. We hope the weather improves a little bit. The idea being they've now been with their form groups and their form tutors for a month. They've started to get to know each other. This is a wonderful bonding exercise, a chance for people to get to know each other even better outside of the classroom, and to perhaps have a little giggle at a teacher trying to do some canoeing or some abseiling. I won't be going, by the way. We also have a huge number of leadership roles within the school. Will and Heidi are examples of a sixth form student leadership team, but they've got a huge team working with them on things like charities and on the environment and so on. But there are opportunities all the way through the school. If you're in Year 7, you might be your class rep on the school council. You might be a student librarian. Very important to deliver those leadership roles. So, when Ofsted came in 2020, it goes back to it being a school of opportunity. They said there were a wealth of opportunities for pupils to take part in. And obviously it's great because that enhances their enjoyment of coming to school, but it also is developing some really crucial skills for later in life. And if you're going to football once a week and you're working as part of a team, you might be developing as a leader. Those are all really important personal qualities, as well as the actual footballing skills that you are learning. Okay, at this point I'm going to pause for 1 minute. I'm going to introduce you to Max. Now Max is very brave because Max is in Year 8. Obviously he's been at Moulton for a year. And the reason why I've asked him to talk to you this evening is because he has really, in his first year, he has taken every opportunity at this school he possibly can, including lots of enrichment activities. So over to you, Max.
Hello and welcome to Moulton High School. My name is Max and I joined the school last September. I was lucky enough to secure a place through the music aptitude test, but this meant that I joined knowing only one other person. I was welcomed heartily on the induction day, where I could get used to the school and have a taste of how it works. My form group that I was with on the induction day was made up of students from lots of different primary schools, so it was an ideal opportunity to meet new friends. My form tutor was so kind and welcoming, and I was really excited to start in September. On the first day, I was full of confidence and excitement for what was ahead. I walked in with a friend I met on the induction day and was greeted by Mr. Greenway. During the day, we had a long session with our form tutor, providing us with the necessary information such as our timetable, kits and homework. We were also given an informative tour of the school. It was a great first day. I'm so thankful for all the opportunities I've had throughout Year 7. As well as the academic side to School Life Propulsion, the school takes pride in its extracurricular clubs. In my first year alone, I attended guitar group, concert band, badminton and the cricket club. I started playing bass guitar in January, having been inspired by the guitar group, and it is a new hobby I love to this day. I was lucky enough to perform in 2 bands at the music soiree held in July in this very auditorium. There really is a club for everyone, and every student is encouraged to get involved. Overall, I've had a fantastic first year at Molsham. I've made lots of new friends, done lots of new things that I thought I would never ever do, and it has been an exceptional start to my secondary schooling. I can't wait for the rest of Year 8 and beyond. I would just like to thank Mr. Greenway, my old form tutor Miss Q, and Miss Mead for a massive amount of support and help during my first year at this wonderful school. Thank you for coming.
I just need to make it clear, I have no idea what these students have written and are going to say. I haven't vetted this in any shape or form. But again, that's a really good example of taking opportunity, is it? Would Max be learning the bass guitar if he hadn't come to Molsham High School? And I've seen him play, I've heard him play, he is pretty talented. Okay, so let's move on to our final core value, which is achieve. And from a parental point of view, this may be the most important core value that you have. Now, one of the things perhaps we are most proud of, in addition to producing these well-rounded and confident young people as they journey through school, is our record of academic success. And it is second to none. You can go online to the DFE website, it's called Find and Check School Performance, and you can see that you'll be hard pressed to find another non-selective school in Essex with this kind of academic record. So, the first thing I would say is that every single student who joins us in Year 7 will leave this school with at least 8 qualifications. And they'll be predominantly GCSEs, maybe the odd BTEC examination, possibly the odd Cambridge National. That is everybody. We do not water down the curriculum for students who enter the school perhaps below national expectation at all. Our aspirations for all students are equal, that everybody will leave with a full set of qualifications. It happened with Year 11 last year, and we are again incredibly proud of that. Now, what I've put on the slide there is something called a Progress 8 score. Now, a Progress 8 score measures students' progress from the end of Year 6, when they took their SATs, to the end of Year 11 when they've taken their GCSE grades. Now, as a secondary school, you're actually aiming for 0. Because if you have 0, it means your students have made the expected progress that they should have done as a whole group. So if you have a minus Progress 8 score, it means they've made less progress than they should have done. And if you've got a positive Progress 8 score, it means they've made more progress than they should have done. Now, this is not calculated by the school, this is calculated by the Department for Education. Hence, we don't have 2023s yet. That's coming out on the 2nd of October. Although I've got a really good idea of where it will be, and I'll explain that in a moment. So the first thing that I would point out to you is that for the last 5 years, our Progress 8 score has always been positive. So our students have always made more progress than they should have done. All of those Progress 8 scores, because they begin with a plus 0.5, a plus 0.6, plus 0.3, put us in a category that is deemed to be well above national. So in other words, we're in the top 15% of schools in the country. It may not sound very much. Let's take last year's Progress 8 score, plus 0.55. You might actually think that doesn't sound a huge amount. Why isn't it plus 3, plus 4, plus 5? What that actually means, if I explain to 2022's, plus 0.55 means that in every single subject every single student took, they were half a grade higher than they should have been. Now, half a grade may not sound, again, very much. It makes a huge difference. So it's going to push me probably from a grade 5 in English, being at the top of a grade 5, into a grade 6, rather than being the top of a grade 6 into a grade 7. So that is, to be plus 0.55 is a huge achievement. This year's, I expect to be in roughly the same kind of area. Our exam results, as I'm going to show you in a moment, this year were in line with previous years, despite all the press speculation that we're going back to 2019 and results are going to dip and everyone's in for a terrible shock and all of that terrible anxiety-driven media speculation before the results came out. Our results didn't drop. And in fact, many of our GCSE results were better than in 2019. So, a really good example here is the percentage of students achieving a grade 4 plus in English and Maths. So again, you can see that for the last 5 years, where there are national averages, we are well above national average. Again, we're in the top 15% of schools in the country. A 4 being equivalent to an old C grade and what everyone's looking for as the gold standard. Now again, the national average isn't out for this year yet, but you can kind of work out what it's going to be. I think it's going to be 60 something. And again, we're going to be 15% or so above national average. We're also judged by Ofsted, by the Department for Education, on the percentage of students achieving a grade 5 or higher in Maths and English. Now again, you can see that for the last 5 years, we have been above national average. And again, that is highly unusual for a school that is a comprehensive school. This year we had 61, which I was absolutely delighted with. Again, there is no national average. But again, you can work it out from the figures, and it's probably going to be about 43%. So we are going to be at least 18% above national average again. That will keep us in the well above national category in terms of performance. So what you've got here are some of our top performers from Year 11 2023. We can calculate a Progress 8 score for each student through a software package that we have, and we do that for a reason I'll explain in a moment. These, I could have filled again, probably 5 or 6 slides of people with very, very positive Progress 8 scores. But what you can see from the slide is that our highest performing student in Year 11 2023, that's the person who made the most progress from Year 6 to Year 11, had a Progress 8 score of plus 3.28. In other words, in every single subject he took, because it's a boy, he got 3 grades higher than he should have done. And I actually learnt on results day, he got into Molsham High School on appeal. And on results day, his mum was just beside herself with happiness because she said as soon as they came here, they knew it was the right place for him. They had to get in on appeal, and he's now our highest performing student. You might also notice he's PPG. PPG means he receives additional funding from the government because of the circumstances of his family. So he's done exceptionally well. All of the others I put up there, and there are others I could have added, they all achieved grades that were at least 2 grades higher than the grades they were expected to get. And you've got a mixture of boys and girls there. Now, one of the reasons why I calculate a Progress 8 score for each child is because I like to have some evidence to back up my assertion that every child in the school can do well. So what you've got here is what's called a high prior attainer. This is a student who came into Year 7 having done phenomenally well in their SATs. So they're on about 116 out of 20, 117 out of 20 in their reading, their maths, and so on. So this is a young man as well. This is what he got at GCSE. He got 8 grade 9s. If you get a grade 9, you're in the top 2% in the country. So he got 8 grade 9s, and rather let himself down because he got 1 grade 7. I know he's kicking himself because he actually wanted to have 9 grade 9s. Okay, so he's in the 6th form. He's doing 4 A-levels, very weighty A-levels, huge workload here. Psychology, biology, maths, chemistry. He's thinking of some kind of medical career possibly later on. And he's doing what's called the extended project qualification, which is midpoint between an A-level and a GCSE, and is really highly desired by universities. So there's your high prior attainer who tells me that he's been stretched. So as a school, we've stretched and challenged him. He has fulfilled his potential. And there were lots of other high attainers who were in the same boat. Then I look at a low prior attainer. A low prior attainer is somebody who joins Year 7 with SAT scores of below 100. 100 is national expectation. So this is somebody who came with 96, 95, 94 as their average kind of SAT score. And you can see what they got. Okay? They actually didn't get anything below a grade 5. And very, very proudly got a grade 8 and a grade 7. And this young person's now gone off to Chelmsford College to do a level 3 in public services because they are looking at a career in the police. And that's exactly right for them. But if I hadn't put low prior attainer, high prior attainer as headings on those slides, would you have known that there was a real difference in their attainment on entry? I don't think you would. And there is my proof that every single child who comes to school is pushed and stretched and challenged to achieve their full potential. So why do we get it right? Why have we got 6 years, 7 years of really high examination results which put us as the top non-selective school in Essex? There are so many reasons. And sometimes I'm asked to go and talk to other head teachers about why we're successful. And I think they think there's just one magic ingredient. You do it and everything will transform. It isn't like that at all. It's a whole recipe. It's about the ethos of your school, the values of your school. So the second bullet point there is really important. There are no glass ceilings here. As I've just shown you, any child with hard work and good teaching can achieve anything. We don't say because you came in on 96 in reading, you're never going to get a grade 5 in English. That simply wouldn't be right. We also have, and I hope you'll see this as you go around, really high quality teachers in this school. There is a recruitment crisis in teaching, particularly in subjects like science and maths and geography. Finding those staff is incredibly difficult, but we do. For 2 reasons. First of all, people actually want to come and work here because they know it's a school in which they can teach and in which they can enjoy their profession. But also, we have a very rigorous recruitment process. So I, for example, when we're interviewing for a post, I personally observe every single candidate teach. And if that lesson isn't good enough, they don't go through to the panel interview. It's a bit like The Apprentice. You're kind of out before you get to the final. But it's really important that our young people deserve the very best teachers in front of them. And they are all specialists. They've all got degrees in the subjects they're teaching, and as you'll see as you go around, they are all incredibly passionate about the subjects that they teach. Now we also, this may seem some distance ahead, I'm only going to talk about it very briefly because of that. We also have here a very large, at the moment it's 336 students. We have a very large and a very, very strong sixth form. The reason we've got 336 students in our sixth form is because they've all done so well at GCSE. They all want to stay here and do their A levels, which is fantastic. So the sixth form was judged to be outstanding when Ofsted came last time. And I am totally convinced that if Ofsted came back tomorrow, they would say exactly the same thing, because it's better than it was in 2020. The same expectations are there in the sixth form in terms of enjoying coming to school, enrichment and academic achievement. So I've just given you there a flavour of some of our success stories from year 13 this year. And you can see we've got lots of students. Again, I could have filled 2 or 3 slides with this, of students who've got nothing lower than an A grade for their A level. Again, all our A level results are significantly above national average, and again, put us as the top non-selective school in Essex for post-16. We've got some people going off to do great things. I'll pick out 3 of them. So student C there has gone to Cambridge. He's actually gone to do veterinary science. If you know how difficult it is to get into Cambridge to do veterinary science, he has done phenomenally well. That's down to him and his hard work, but also to his staff who really went the extra mile to make sure he was well prepared for his interview, for example. We've also got student S, who's gone to ARU to do medicine. And if you've been to ARU and seen their facilities down there, they are second to none for training nurses and doctors. And finally, I'll pick out student M, who is a young lady who's gone to Edge Hill. And she got 3 A stars and an A grade at A level, and she's gone to train to be a primary teacher. And I'm so delighted about that, because she's just the type of young lady we need in the teaching profession. So we've got people going off to do very academic degrees, but we've also got people doing something a little bit more vocational. I should also say we've got people securing some fantastic degree level apprenticeships. One young lady in particular secured the most amazing package with Amazon, and 600 people going for it, 1 degree level apprenticeship. So now she's in PR and marketing and training with Amazon. She's made for life there. Okay, so there are lots of amazing things about this school, but we are never ever complacent. Every single day, really, we are evaluating what we are doing, and we are trying to become even better. Because of that, we enjoy working with other schools. We are parts of lots of different networks, and we're also a member of the Bridge Academy Trust, which has 3 other secondary schools in it, and which enables us to share good practice with them and to develop practice. So finally, the questions that we're all always asked: how do I get a place? Well, if you look at the website, our admissions policy is there. It is incredibly clear. So obviously, looked after children, or previously looked after children, or children with an educational and care health plan have to come first by law. Then it's children with a sibling at the school at time of application, and then it's simply done by straight line distance from the school. And I know some of you may ask, so how far away can we live to qualify by straight line distance? That changes every single year, largely depending on the number of siblings. But I will say that if you live probably over a mile away, that's probably going to be too far. So if you do live more than a mile away, what you might want to try is the music aptitude test, because we are able to admit 27 students through the music aptitude process. And there is a presentation about that now, 7 o'clock. Okay, in about 15 minutes in the West Hall, which we will show you there, if you wish to hear about how you might use that process to get a place if you live a huge distance from the school. Okay. Finally, thank you very much for coming this evening. Please now go and have a look around, and Mr. Blank and I will be here to answer any questions on the way out. Thank you very much.